NHL Hall of Famer Wayne Gretzky said, "I don't skate to where the puck is. I skate to where the puck is going next."
America's positive, pragmatic Goshen.
Anticipatory thinking will enhance your life dramatically. Hey, welcome today, guys. Again, we're excited about having you here at the Positive Pragmatic, Bob Goshen, and my wonderful producer and cohort, my son Rob. We're here to lay down another, I want to call it quick, podcast. There's so many podcasts. I think the other day I Googled podcast, or maybe it was the word leadership. I don't know what it was, but it was like 9 million or something. I'm going, wow. So, a lot of times people say, well, why would you want to start another podcast? And my response to that is, I don't know. It's just for me and my family, something they can look at in the future and go, ha, 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 ha. He was just kidding. No, I have information to give. The whole idea behind this podcast is I probably live longer than most everybody that's on podcasting right now. And I want to share some of the insights that my wife and I have learned over multiple years, being married over 60 years. We can give you a little bit of insight on marriage. Having owned multiple businesses, many of them with a lot of challenges that we had to work through, I think we can help you. Spiritual insight, really excited about that as far as what we've learned as we've moved forward in that journey of our life. So this podcast, that is here. We're here to give you more meat that you can use in your everyday living. Now, I started with the story of Wayne Gretzky, and I think about that anticipatory thinking. Anticipatory thinking. You got to plug that one in, because anticipatory thinking is where most people are not. And really, I have to say, whether it's a blessing or a curse, it's been given to me since birth. Oh, that sounded good. We need to remember that. Write that down. We're going to call that a next tape. Anticipatory thinking. What is it? It's looking at the future, at what can happen that you may have to change your direction. I don't like to brag, but I will say this. I was a pretty good athlete in high school. Was not an amazing athlete, but I was a good athlete. Led it all of my high school years in 3 sports. And if I have any claim to fame, it would be having the opportunity, I laugh when I think about this, of playing a high school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the leading quarterback for the other team was ranked one of the top 5 candidates for college. And I was on this little high school team on the other side, and at that time, I was a defensive back, which means you're back behind everybody and you're waiting to see what's going to happen. If it's a run, you come up. If it's a pass, you drop back. In the halftime, I had the opportunity and the fortune to intercept not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 passes in a halftime. Now, that's virtually unheard of. And afterwards, my coach said, well, how did you do that? And it was totally through anticipatory thinking. I would look at that quarterback, and I noticed that he would turn his foot, either his right foot or his left foot, this is so elementary, to the direction he was going to throw the ball. Well, 50% of that was already taken care of for me. So the minute I would look up there and I'd see how his feet were placed, it would tell me what direction he's going to be throwing the ball. I didn't know which person yet, but I knew that if I could get over there, I could get it. Anticipatory thinking. Anticipatory thinking, lived it my entire life. And I tell people today, it's probably one of the best things that you can incorporate in your life. And I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to show you and explain how you can do that. Recently, here in this studio, we had the opportunity to video a Navy SEAL. Not just a Navy SEAL, there are a lot of Navy SEALs out there. This one was a Navy SEAL for 34 years, and he's still 34 years. He was known and best known even up in the SEAL School, or SEAL Museum in Washington, D.C., as the person that went in and swam underwater for 5 hours to blow up Noriega's boat so he could not escape. Listening to him and having the opportunity to interview him, there was one thing that just hit me so hard that really confirmed where I really was and my thinking in the past. Because whenever I go down the road, I'm using anticipatory thinking. What would happen if this? What would happen to that? And my wife would tell you a lot of times we've avoided accidents that probably should have happened, but I kept thinking, what if this guy does stuff? What if this, are you understanding? When I go to a shopping center, my head is like on a swivel stick. Who's around me? Is there a van next to me? So you're saying, Bob, are you paranoid? No. I'm anticipating something that could happen that I've got to be able to have a response for. That's all that it is, okay? This Navy SEAL said it this way. He said, we'll sit in our boardroom before a mission, and we define our mission. What is our mission? What are we here to accomplish? In that particular case, it was to go in and blow up his boat. That's our mission. Then they sit down and, if you will, with me, imagine on a board behind them, they list every objective that they must do in order to make that mission work. Every possible thing has to be laid out. So they'll lay down, you can call it goals, I call it objectives, and they'll lay them down. Might be 10, might be 20, might be that. And a lot of people, that's where they end in life. A lot of people, coaches or whatever the case may be, will lay down, this is what we have to do in order to win the ball game. A Navy SEAL doesn't think that way. Next to their objective, they write down next to each line, what can happen to this that would throw it off course? Mission, I want to lose weight. I'm going to eat better. What can throw it off course? Fast foods. Are you getting the idea? So we set our objective. This is what it's going to take in order to win. This is going to be our response. Or no, this is not going to be our response. This is going to be what can happen. The economy is going to go flat. All these things can happen in business. But then here's number 3. How do we respond to the things that went wrong to the things we had planned? You getting it? In other words, this is my mission, this is my goals, this is what it's going to take, this is what's going to happen, and this is what's going to happen in my response if it doesn't happen. Again, people say, that's negative. No, that's anticipatory planning. I like it the way that he says it. He says that a Navy SEAL has a statement that if you have to think in battle, you're dead. Now, it's not that severe in our life, is it? But if we have to think in the middle of our business where we have a nice business, things are going, blah, 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 and we don't have you can call it a plan B. If you don't have something else lined up to do, you're in trouble. You've got to have your goals. You've got to really stay firm to those goals. His words, like I said, if I have to think about it, I'm dead. Use thinking or any planning, you've got to be thinking this way. Whether it's a new business, you might be starting a new business. Now think with me. We got a new business. I'm working with one right now. We got a new business, okay? What do we want to accomplish? What are our lanes? What do we want to do? In other words, bam. What's it going to take in order to do that? Bam. What's going to happen if that doesn't happen? Bam. What can disrupt it, in other words? What can disrupt our activity? And bam, how do we respond to that? Are you getting the idea? Are you getting the plan here? Weight loss. It can be weight loss. It can be professional speaking. I had the opportunity to do quite a bit of speaking. I always have it kind of an anticipatory thinking. What if I'm there and the mic doesn't work? It's happened. What if I'm there and you've got somebody in the audience that wants to talk back? How would you respond? What happens if a video camera goes off? What if the slideshow that you're using goes blank? See, anticipate, because I think we've all been there where we've seen someone speaking, something that happened, it just shuts down everything. So anticipatory thinking is where you need to be. It sets up your circle. If you're going to And he made a statement. He said, one of the reasons that we succeed as a team, is we have each other's back. In other words, when we go on this mission, we're going in not to try. We don't hope it'll work. We're going in to win. When we go into business, we're going in to win. Now get this, dependent on who's on my team and those that I can count on that will have my back. In other words, they don't want to be going in on a mission and they're wondering, I wonder if one of our team members is going to stick us in the back with something here. You with me? So not only have you got the good thinking, you've got to have the good team that's on that. You know, I always say this in the Bible. It says, he who associates with the wise will be wise. I always say, he who associates with the stupid probably will be a little stupid. Circle of friends. Can I do a little segue here? Just play like I'm an attorney. All of you junior high school athletes, especially young ladies. See, guys, we can have differences and we can work it out. We'll work it out by punching each other or doing something. I'm just repeating what my wife said. Girls can get vicious in the way that they respond to each other. Who is on your team? I'm going to ask you, girls, who's on your team? You got to get rid of the drama queens. Just like with the Navy SEAL, you can't have anybody on that team and saying, well, I don't know if this is going to work. You're out of here, right? You can't have drama kings. You can't do it. You got to get rid of the drama queen. You got to get rid of the doubters. Well, I'm not sure. Get rid of Debbie Doubter and get people around you that will build you up, that will support your dream, that will go in the same direction. Some of you guys right now are allowing other people to determine your future and your walk in life by their opinion. In my last podcast, if you remember, Deion Sanders, some of you need to get this and write it down. Where on my forehead do you see that your opinion matters of me? Look, I want everybody to think that I'm a nice guy, and I think everybody out there wants everybody to think they're a nice guy, nice gal, but not to the detriment of what your dream is and your vision is and where you're going. Does that make sense? So gals, little gals out there, get rid of those in your group that are jealous. Oh, I can't believe Mary. Get rid of them. When I say get rid of them, you don't just go, get out of here. You go, hey, I think we need to think about a different avenue of working together. My wife has been with me a long time. We started a business many, many years ago. It was called Amway, I've never had so many people laugh and make fun of me as I did when I entered and we entered the Amway business. My dearest friend said, you are just stupid. I'm going, really? He's my closest friend. You can imagine my mother, go back to college. I mean, it was crazy. My pastor, not my pastor, but some people in our church, you realize you can go to hell for being in that occult? I mean, we have got slammed, and it was pretty simple that they probably shouldn't be on our team. Stay away from the naysayers. Get around the people that are saying, hey, you're going to make it. Oh, it's going to be rough. You're going to hit some bumps. Welcome to the real world. It's going to happen for you. Find those who feed your dream, uplift your advice. They give you advice that was uplifting, things that will help. Get rid of those who are talking negative about everybody, for goodness sakes. Expect to win is one of the last things I want to share. When a Navy SEAL team goes in, they know that they're going to win. Again, because they don't care about other people's opinions. They don't care about the enemy's opinion. They don't care about anybody's opinion on how they're going to fail. They're going in to win. When you start your new business, are you going in to win or are you going to go in to try? Are you going to try or are you going to win? Coach, are you expecting to win or are you expecting to try? Boy, that's one little trigger. Changing the word from I hope that we win the game tonight to I expect to win the game tonight. Again, going back to Deion Sanders, his expectations are winning. Will he get beat? Yeah, it's not going to change his expectations. It may slow him down, but ultimately he'll win. Hope does not get you anywhere. Expectations will. Business, sports, marriage, You never hope, man, I hope my marriage works, and it won't. I hope my business works, and it won't. You have to say, I expect it to work. Again, some people think anticipatory thinking is negative. No, it's practical. It's practical. It's really where you have to move over into an area greater than surviving in life. It's what if this should happen, not in a negative way. That would be negative if you stop there. What if this should happen, and how do I respond? See, it's how are you going to respond when something happens that you don't expect on plans that you had for total success. In closing, 1, define your mission. What is your mission in business? What's your mission in health? What's your mission in the spiritual? In other words, as far as Bible study and getting closer to God. Number 2, dictate the rules. Dictate the rules. Dictate the goals that you're going to set. Dictate those. 3, determine your responses to unplanned events. That is the key. Determine your response to unplanned events. What if? And 4, defeat negative thinking with expectations to win. Pragmatic thinking. What is a pragmatic? They're pragmatic. Dealing with things sensibly and realistically based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. Let me read that again. Dealing with things sensibly and realistically based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. Just not theoretical. Life is real. We're here. There's life hereafter, but while we're here, let's be thinking about what we can do. It's been exciting today at this wonderful place with Purple Gorilla Media. I'll put a little plug in at the end. If you're thinking about doing a podcast, if you're thinking about doing an e-commerce or e-sales, e-course, anything you want to do in a video production, find Purple Gorilla Media in the Houston area. Just key it in and you'll find them. Until we meet again on our next episode, remember, people what? They will remember your touch much longer than your talk.